From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening. Welcome to the broadcast. A Fairbanks man accused of sexual assault was in Fairbanks Superior Court today working on a change of plea.
56-year-old Bobby Nashukpuk is charged on 9 counts of sexual abuse of a minor along with a single count of exploitation of a minor, a Class B felony. Nashukpuk was scheduled to take a plea deal today, but due to the guilty verdict in another sexual assault case, Judge Jane Kavar suggested to wait until more information about the sentencing was given to the court. The family of the victim spoke up, saying that it has been a 2-year process to see justice and they are ready to put this behind them. The rescheduled change of plea is set for March 15th.
It was an unusual day for workers at the Alaska Railroad in Fairbanks today. They were scooping snow and loading it into train cars for delivery to Anchorage in time for the start of the Iditarod sled dog race. Road foreman of engines Brett Brown says the quality of the snow isn't great, but it should be good enough for the event, which is set to occur this Saturday. Over 300 cubic yards of snow was loaded in 7 air dump train cars. Now, the Iditarod Trail Committee announced this morning that the 11-mile ceremonial start route will be shortened to 3 miles due to the lack of snow in Anchorage. The snow to be delivered was originally left on the side of the Johansson Expressway, unwanted by the Alaska Railroad, which piled it during snowfall that occurred earlier in the winter. Brown says the cold cargo will be transported to Anchorage at no cost to event organizers.
So the costs associated with it, of course, the crews, and there's always a cost associated with excess tonnage on a train and fuel and everything else that it takes to get it down there. But like I said, we owe it to the people of the state of Alaska, the owners of the Alaska Railroad, to help them out when we can, and that's what we're doing.
The Alaska Republican Party held its presidential preference poll on Super Tuesday. Locally, the polling took place at the Pioneer Park Civic Center from 3 to 8 p.m. A long line of interior residents who were eagerly waiting to vote for their ideal Republican candidate stretched out nearly to the front entrance of Pioneer Park. Inside, residents were either voting or getting registered as a Republican to vote. Ted Cruz made a narrow victory over Donald Trump as he has won the Republican presidential preference poll in Alaska, picking up 12 delegates in the process. Trump is right behind, collecting 11. Marco Rubio came in third with only 5. Both Ben Carson and John Kasich were on the ballot and had both finished below the voting threshold to receive any delegates.
Once the delegates go to the Republican National Convention in Cleveland, those delegates must stay with their declared or assigned candidate through the first 2 ballots. If it goes past 2 ballots, the delegates are released and they are free to vote for whatever candidate they want in the 3rd round.
Moments after Governor Bill Walker learned on Tuesday that Superior Court Judge Frank Piffner sided with him and dismissed a lawsuit challenging the governor's authority to expand access to Medicaid without legislative approval, he learned an appeal would be filed. Walker had said he had hoped it was the end of it and hoped they could get on with all they need to be doing at this point rather than suing one another. The optimism was short-lived, as a lawmaker who played a central role in the lawsuit said in a Wednesday afternoon interview that the legislature will file an appeal with the Alaska Supreme Court. It is still unclear what exactly the next step will be, but Senator Sen Coghill, a Republican from North Pole, said from his office in the Capitol that $180,000 of the $450,000 previously approved will go toward the continued legal challenge.
When we come back, Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski questioned the Interior Secretary on different items affecting Alaska today.
Also in our weekly military report, Monty Bowen tells us about how important a role employers play in supporting the National Guard and Reserve members. Stay with us. And welcome back. The Moodys credit rating agency has downgraded Alaska's credit rating, affecting more than $744 million of outstanding general obligation bond debt. Citing heightened volatility in the state's revenues and an unprecedented imbalance caused by the state's reliance on oil prices, the ratings agency assigned Drop Alaska from a AAA to a AA1. According to agency's credit opinion, even if the state cuts spending significantly, it cannot keep pace with falling oil prices. Absent changes in the way the state spends, Moodys estimates that Alaska will run out of budget reserves by 2019. The agency expects crude oil prices to remain below $50 a barrel through 2019. In an emailed statement, Governor Bill Walker says the news is disappointing, but he is confident the state can improve its fiscal outlook.
Today, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski questioned Interior Secretary Sally Jewell on proposed regulations by the National Park Service and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to govern hunting, trapping, and lake access in Alaska's national wildlife refuges. In January, Alaska's congressional delegation called on the two agencies to extend the comment period on the proposed rule. During an Interior Appropriations Subcommittee hearing today, Murkowski called the proposed rule unsettling to the people of Alaska as it contains provisions to close areas that are currently open to hunting and fishing. She also claimed the rule violates the Alaska National Interest Lands Conservation Act.
So from Alaska's perspective, we've got a NILCA that says the state has the right to manage, and now you have the federal government, your Park Service, Wildlife Service, saying, yeah, except for when we think that what we're doing is more appropriate. It's a violation, really, of what has been set out, not only within a NILCA, but within our state's constitution.
Employer support of the National Guard and Reserve provides education and information to the employers of Guard and Reserve members. Monty Bowen has more now in this week's Military Report.
Since 9/11, over 900,000 American citizens have been called up to serve in the war on terror and in Afghanistan and Iraq. Tom Bullock is the Chief of Employer Outreach and Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. His job is to help Guard and Reserve members find meaningful careers.
Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve was founded in 1972. Our mission is to provide education and information to the employers of National Guardsmen and Reservists. We serve all of the 7 SEALs, which are all of the 7 branches of the Reserve Forces.
They do that with over 4,000 volunteers.
We have outreach directors in every state to where we reach out to chambers of commerce, to Rotary clubs, to anywhere there are employers.
ESGR has a statement of support program for employers
that employers can sign that demonstrates publicly their support for their employees who serve in the National Guard and Reserve. Employers of any size can participate in the program.
Bullock is a Vietnam vet who notes coming home from combat then is nothing like it is now.
It's certainly not what it is today. It's hard to talk about it, but when we came home, most of us went as individuals and came home as individuals. Now with the National Guard, when we take National Guard units, whole communities to war, then you have a whole outpouring of support. These fine young Americans are volunteers. They sacrifice their lives, and I have the opportunity and honor to go out to corporate America and help them understand their employees who are serving are a true asset to their corporation or to their business.
You can get more information about the program at esgr.mil. This is Monty Bowen reporting.
The Military Report is brought to you by Kendall Auto of Fairbanks.
Joe Cook is up next with sports and gets you ready for this week's dog mushing events.
Also, we have a Governor's Cup preview and an upset in high school basketball.
All that and more after the break.
Welcome back, Interior sports fans. Time for your local Wednesday sportscast. The last great race will start this weekend. After much discussion about having a possible restart in Fairbanks like last year, the race will stay down south, of course. Ceremonial start will be shortened from 11 to 3 miles because of, hey, no snow. It'll start in Anchorage this Saturday at 10 a.m. 85 mushers make up this year's field. There are 17 rookies, 13 international mushers, and 8 interior mushers like Ken Anderson, Lance Mackey, and Jody Bailey. The usual suspects are back: Ali Zirkle, Alan Moore, Brent Sass, and Yukon Quest champion Hugh Neff. A Seavey has won the last 4 Iditarods. Dallas Seavey, the son of Mitch, has won the last 2, and he has 3 of the last 4 victories so far. The official restart will be in Willow on Sunday at 2 p.m. on Willow Lake. The mushers will take the northern route to Nome this year. Here in the interior, you can get your mushing fix this week in North Pole. Thursday is the opening day of the Ken Ross Fort Knox Junior North American and North Pole Championships. The first heats start Thursday at 2 o'clock, and there will be 5 classes ranging from 1 to 6 dogs. The JNAC is Thursday through Saturday, and the North Pole Championships will be Saturday and Sunday. The MP Championships will have a purse over $18,000, which is a new record. They will have 4, 6, and 10 dog classes, as well as ski jor. The races will be at Morningstar Park in North Pole. If you're a hockey fan, this Friday and Saturday is the weekend for you. UAF versus UAA. It will be a whiteout all weekend at the Carlson Center before the puck drop on Friday night of the Governor's Cup. Colton Parayko's banner will be revealed. In UAF, they will honor their 6 seniors. Tyler Morley, who could make his return from an injury this weekend, Josh Atkinson, Alec Kadukovic, J.D. Peterson, John Keeney, and Nolan Heismans are the seniors. Governor Bill Walker, he will also be there to drop the puck as well. Saturday at 1:30 is the UAF-UAA alumni game, and some of the greatest players in Anik history will be back, like Chris Chambers and Jordan Hendry. Everything is on the line, though. The last WCHA playoff spot, the Gov Cup itself, and of course, state pride and bragging rights. The Nooks cannot lose. 2 wins or a tie and a win will get them into the postseason and, of course, keep that Gov Cup. Despite a rough year for UAF, it all comes down to this Friday night.
Me personally, I don't know if I'd want it any other way. You know, it's like last game's the Carlson Center, everything's on the line, playoffs, Gov Cup against Anchorage. It's like, you know, that's what you want.
You know, I'm really excited because I can't wait to see the guys just elevate their games, and we come together and just take it game by game this weekend.
We're preparing for this weekend, and it'd mean nothing more for us and our fans if we beat them when playoffs playing the way we are right now.
You know what, it's just stick with our game plan, make sure we're ready to play the way we're, you know, supposed to play, and I think if we do that, that gives us the best chance to be successful.
And Tuesday night was the night for high school hoops. Rivalry matchup at Jyoti Court. Lathrop sport their pink jerseys for a crossover on Cancer Night. They raised over $1,000 as they took on the rival Wolfpack. West Valley was coming off a huge win at Barrow, had some momentum coming to the game, but Lathrop, they stayed close throughout. Daniel Hornbuckle had his usual good game with a game-high 30 points, but the Malamutes had someone come in handy. Jeremiah Handy. He came in handy, spraying 5 threes to lead Lathrop with 28 points. It was tied 55 all in the 4th quarter, but the Mutes, they finished on a 12-4 run. They win 67-59 and get their first win over West Valley this year.
It was big. In my mind, I knew I was going to make it, so I just let it drop. I was just ready for the game, you know, had to get focused on the game. And because I wanted this one badly, because we lost to them twice already, so I wanted this one, and I want regionals.
After losing the first 2 meetings to their rivals, the West Valley girls, they have won 3 straight over Lathrop. Last night was the latest win. They led by 18 at the half. The Malamutes, they will go on a run to cut the deficit to 7 points early in the 4th quarter. That's as close as they would get. Led by Ruthie Hubert's 28 points and Ellen Silva's 10, West Valley wins 59-48. It's their 5th straight win in 7 days, and they clinched the #1 seed in the MAC tournament.
One thing we definitely figured out was our confidence. We just figured out that we are actually still a good team and contenders. I think our self-esteem went up a lot after the Diamond Tournament, just knowing we could play with Anchorage teams, and definitely our defense. Our defense is definitely winning games for us this year.
And in today's Alaska Association of Basketball Coaches poll, Juneau and K-High lead the 4A boys rankings, the West Valley Wolfpack. They are now 3rd in the 4A girls polls. Monroe was 3rd in the boys 3A poll, and the Hutchinson girls, they are 5th in 3A. And Glen Allen, they make it in at number 5 in the 2A girls poll. Hockey Week in Fairbanks continues as the last weekend of activities are coming up. Thursday at Noel Ween Library will be the Brady reading at 6:30 by Arthur Mary Shaw. Her series of books teaches valuable lessons to kids using hockey. Friday is the ever popular Wear Your Jersey to School and Work Day. Tickasuck Brown Elementary in North Pole is the whole school for this year. The ice sculpture will be dedicated on Saturday at noon, and Hockey Week in Fairbanks culminates this Sunday at 1 o'clock with the Skate the Lake event at Tenanaut Lakes Recreation Area. And that's it for watching. Mike Schultz is next after the break with weather, and we'll catch you next time.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Ice Park. Mike Schultz with you once again live and direct. We've got a few things to pass along. First of all, at 9 o'clock tonight, they're going to blow the horn. That means the ice carving is completed for the single blocks. And also, since yesterday, if you'll look over my shoulder, and my cameraman will be showing you all the ice they brought in. They brought in some more ice to build some more figurines and some more things for the kids. And boy, this thing is really filling up good. Let's take a look at the weather, see what's going on. First of all, what we're going to talk about tonight, we have quite a few things to talk about. And the first of them is going to be more clouds. It's not as cold tonight. In fact, the clouds are moving in right now, and temperatures were stabilized quite a bit today, so the melting was not as bad for the ice carving. Also, maybe some flurries tomorrow evening as the weather pattern is showing some signs of change. And finally, the thing is we're looking at temperatures not quite as cool, or actually a little cooler than we first expected for the weekend, so it looks like it's not quite as warm as we were hoping for. Okay, let's take a look at our satellite picture for tonight, get things rolling and see what's going on. As you can see, there are more clouds moving in from the south. That is the pattern changing. The high pressure ridge that's been sitting over us is now starting to break down and allow some of that moisture to move in. Across the state, here's what it looks like as far as temperature and sky conditions. Once again, we're talking about over southeast Alaska, a little bit of cloudiness, 44 degrees at Ketchikan, some showers there. Juneau looking at the upper 30s, mid-30s at Anchorage with just partly cloudy skies, 40 degrees at Kodiak, also 40 degrees along the Aleutian Chain at Cold Bay. Around Bethel, 34 degrees, lots of sunshine, 32 degrees and partly cloudy skies around the Nome area. 2 below at Barrow with some blowing snow this afternoon, and Fort Yukon looking at cloudy skies. In the lower 48, over the Pacific Northwest, another storm system moving ashore, bringing more rain, and some of that rain is going to reach all the way down into Southern California. They need that in the worst way. Also some activity moving across the Central Plains. What's it all mean as far as the West Coast is concerned? Well, again, we're talking about the jet stream changing direction, helping to blow all that moisture off the Pacific Ocean, bringing with it showers and rain all the way down the West Coast. And the new jet stream outlook was released today. Here's what it looks like across the country. Again, you can see high pressure over the West Coast, and once again across the Great Lakes, snow shower activity with warm temperatures, the key factor across the lower 48. Hey, it's time to take a look at our kids' weather for tonight. Again, all this week we've been talking about the kids from Ann Ween Elementary School, and tonight here's a young man with a question for me about weather. What else?
Hello, my name is Anthony, and I'm in 5th grade in Ann Ween Elementary School in Miss Noble's class. And I have a question for the weatherman. What causes weather?
Anthony, the most important thing to cause weather is wind. And wind comes from heat and cold working to work against each other. And as they move up and down, it's called uneven heating, and that what causes the wind and moisture to develop and all the movement in the atmosphere, and that's where your weather comes from. Again, thanks to Mount McKinley Bank for sponsoring our kids' weather. And tomorrow night we'll be with a teacher. The teacher's going to have an interesting weather fact for us about snow in Valdez. Okay, forecast across Alaska for tomorrow. For the northern sections first, looking at fog and blowing snow continuing for Barrow, partly cloudy skies in Nome, and some flurries in the Fort Yukon area. Elsewhere in the interior, we're looking again at a very changeable pattern right now. It looks like more clouds moving in. Flurries are possible north of Fairbanks and in the Healy area with partly cloudy skies at Delta Junction. Over southeast Alaska, their weather is changing also. Looks like more rain in the forecast, rain and snow at Juneau, and periods of rain for Ketchikan, while over to the southwest part of the state, for the most part, looking at, again, a little bit of a change, partly cloudy skies north and Bethel and Cold Bay, and mostly sunny skies at Kodiak, and down across the Anchorage Bowl, also looking at pretty good weather there. As you can see, decreasing clouds in Anchorage and also Homer, mostly sunny in Valdez. Okay, our temperatures at the airport right now are starting to drop, and our high today was only right around the 21-degree mark with 17 degrees currently, a little last night at 5 below, and our sunrise and sunset working out to about 10 hours and 19 minutes. And the forecast for tonight is calling for more clouds, flurries north of the Fairbanks area, 1 below for the overnight low. Tomorrow, looking at more clouds and then a possibility of flurries in the Fairbanks area with 26 degrees and temperatures, again, not as cold and not as warm as we were hoping for. And the 5-day outlook, as you can see, temperatures cooling down on Saturday, then slowly warming back up again for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, with overnight lows also showing the same weather pattern. Quickly, our photograph for tonight, White Mountains in the winter. Cheryl Dawkin was the one that sent that in. And as always, if you have a photograph to share, send it to photos at ktvf11.com. And one other real quick thing, We're hearing about a ice carving group that's carving chickens, scattering all over the town. We'll have more on that and a really good story for you tomorrow night. You won't want to miss that. Well, right now, back to you guys.
Well, that will wrap it up for this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. We're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, a possible piece of the missing MH370 aircraft has been found on the coast of Mozambique. That's next with Lester Holt.
Join us here 6 days a week at 6 and 11 or anytime online at webcenter11.com.
From all of us here at the News Center, have a great night.